have the value. You don't run up on no boy trying to get his attention. We're going to get into that in a minute. But I remember when I met her, there was a connection for me because I was fascinated at the fact that this woman carried herself with a level of character and depth, and she didn't really pay me any attention. And fellas, let's tell the truth. The one that doesn't pay you attention is the one you pursue. Where the fellas at? If it's too easy, we don't want it. Where my man at? Huh? The challenge. You know why? Because men are hunters. Am I right, man? The guy? Where are the men who understand this principle? If it's easy, I don't want it. If I can get to your heart that fast, who else has gotten to you? Good. Young ladies, let me help you to understand that your value is not based on your physicality. It is not based on what you can give to him. Your value is based on the God who created you. A smattering of applause. I don't understand. I think this is a series that's going to have to continue. We might have to do Booed Up. And we might have to come back for the next 4 weeks and just set it off. And then just open it up to the church and just do Booed Up for everybody. Okay, so you said a connection. What else? Yes.
It's gotta be somebody that understands you, and like you can understand them, so you can be able to tell them how you feel, and they can help you with it.
Now I like that. What's your name?
Sky.
Sky. That's my daughter's middle name, so you all right with me. So Pastor Matt, you said you gotta be able to talk to somebody that understands you, you understand them. That sounds like a relationship. You want to break down relationship for the people?
A relationship, there are many types of relationships. In Buddha, I would assume that you're talking about a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, somebody that you actually like beyond just a friend, somebody that you would choose to go to the movies with, maybe hold hands with, and that's it.
Yeah, right.
But you have to be honest that I think I can remember maybe 7th grade, and you're like, oh my God, there he is. But you get the little butterflies, feelings, and you're not quite sure what to do with those. That's what's important. Anything we don't understand, we sometimes categorize as being the devil or wrong or shameful. And so I think it's important for us to understand that it's natural to have feelings or want to be connected to someone in ways that have boundaries at this age, because you don't want to open yourself up to unnecessary things that you aren't mature enough to handle at this point in your life. You're supposed to just be having a good time, but with maximum limitations. If whatever, this is something that I think you should keep in mind, if whatever you're doing has to be done in the dark or with no one else present, then we probably shouldn't be doing that. If you hold hands in front of your parents, you go out for ice cream, you go see a movie that is age appropriate, then that should probably be accompanied by other people. Anything that you have to do that has to just be you and that person alone is not where we want to be at this age range right now.
But I want to jump in, please. Here's the thing. It's not just boundaries. This is, first of all, y'all need to put this in your phone, because here's some notes from your pastors. Put it in your phone. I know you got a phone. Don't act like you don't.
Or if you have a notepad. Yeah, they got
put it on your notepad. Because when you write things down, type it, you literally retain it 70% more. So I need you to write these things down, because you said something, Pastor Adam. You said boundaries. And immediately it sounds like you're trying to stop me from doing something. So the rebellious part of my nature, the flesh in me is like, oh, boundaries. That means you don't want me to do that. Why you don't want me to do that? So now your curiosity is piqued. Boundaries were the first thing God gave when he gave dominion. If you really want to be a person that has power, you must understand boundaries. If you really want to be someone that God can trust, you must understand boundaries. Because the Garden of Eden had boundaries. And God gave Adam the garden to tend and to till. And he also put boundaries around the garden. And then he was working so hard, Pastor Ab, that God said it's not good for him to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him. This is very important, young people. Stop trying to create your own relationship perfection. Especially for this age range, 6th through 12th grade. Boundaries are critical. And boundaries are not to stop you from a thing, it's keeping you for a thing.
It's protecting you for your purpose.
6 people, and some parents haven't said that. I want to say it again. Boundaries are not keeping you from a thing, they're keeping you for a thing. You know why that's important? Because the mindset, man, is that I'm missing out. Everybody else is doing whatever they want. Well, her parents ain't home, and she lets her boyfriend come over. But then 10 years from now, she's still broken and doesn't understand because she opened up a door that she wasn't emotionally or physically ready for. Nobody talks about that. Everybody talks about being fast and this and that, but the reality is, what you do at 15 affects you at 25. Don't let people in while you're still developing. You have to be wise. So we're the parents, and then I'm going to upon us to make sure that we make our boundaries clear to our children, but also implement them in our own lives, because they will remember what you hear, but they'll duplicate what you do. Amen. They'll duplicate what you do. You can put your hands down. Parents, we've got to be the ones creating healthy boundaries. And also with boundaries, parents, we must open lines of communication where our kids are not trying to figure out their hormones and their passion and their attraction in school alone. Because if other 15-year-olds are teaching your kids about sex and dating and relationships and all of that, we're in trouble. You've got to have those conversations. It got real quiet. Maybe play some music or something. I feel nervous. But why is it all smoky in here? This feels like a club. Turn the lights on in here. Turn them off. We need some more lights in here. You don't want the lights on? No! Fine, like they said, turn them off. I don't like lights. Turn them off. Those lights. So if you can stay on this boundary piece for a second, why don't you talk about that?
I talked about boundaries because there are some things that we shouldn't know before we're able to understand where we are. And it comes with maturity. In the time that we live in, everything is so fast, and you can Google and you can Facebook and you can Instagram almost anything at any given moment. So it is important for you to know your value and not allow anyone else to speak that to you, because I think sometimes we are fascinated when people give us compliments. We're fascinated by what people can do for us. And if we don't know who we are standing alone, how worthy we are when we were born, don't allow anybody else to tell you that, because God has already told you that. And you have to find it in the Word. If you're spending time trying to get to know yourself and what God has said about you, you don't really have a lot of time to explore other people. However, if you do, you guys should probably talk about, you can talk about school, you can talk about fun, but when it comes to the relationship piece that goes beyond
Girl,
the fence, I didn't know it is so hard to talk about this.
it ain't hard. These kids nasty.
I don't want
You in here playing like they don't know. You need to see what they've been watching on YouTube. They be Snapchatting, they be doing all kinds of stuff. How many of y'all have sent a selfie because somebody asked you, don't raise your hand?
Just ask them.
Because somebody was like, I want you to think about it. Why do they want to see intimate parts of you but don't want to pay for what it costs to be intimate with you? You need to write this in your phone. Intimacy has a price. My spiritual
Right. And some things, ladies, you need to keep them to yourself until you're committed in a relationship with a ring. There are some things that you shouldn't explore until you're married.
And there's something you should explore until you're. There's a process in each area of relationship. I don't believe it's healthy for a 15-year-old to be in a physical relationship, at that age. If you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend who's already crazy, why are you playing games? Because all that's going to happen is you're going to get caught up because you moved up. You're going to be the ultimate. He was listening to the slow jam, and there was no accountability. It's real quiet, but I know I ain't lying. But before we go there, Pastor Ab, I want to jump to something that I think is important. I think it's critical because you guys already know most of what we're going to talk about. Y'all just sit back here like you don't, but you do. And here's my heart for you. I want to give you scripture. I don't want to give you my thoughts because my thoughts don't matter. What matters is what the word says. Okay? What matters is what the word says. Paul was speaking to Timothy, 1 Timothy 4. And here's what it says. You should put this down. Let no one, 1 Timothy 4 and 12, let no one despise your youth, but be an example to the believers in word, in conduct, in love, in spirit, in faith, in purity. Till I come, give attention to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. Do not neglect the gift that is in you, which was given to you by prophecy with the laying on of hands of the eldership. Meditate on these things. Give yourself entirely to them, that your progress may be evident to all. I want to grab your attention.
Fire, dog.
You don't know what that is to get scared. After the scripture,
Oh, that's what they do.
The response.
Oh, okay, cool.
y'all
Look at that, man. Do that Sunday. Do it Sunday. Everybody say word, conduct, love, spirit, faith, purity. One more time, say word, conduct, love, spirit, faith, purity. The reason why that's important is because Timothy was a young man that had a calling on his life. His spiritual father, Paul, said, I need you to carry yourself, not for where you are, but for where you're going. And what I want you guys to hear, as Pastor Av continues to share, is that our heart is what we're sharing tonight in a very short, abbreviated sense, is that we want you to carry yourselves, not just for where you are, but for where you're going. So the decisions you make now, listen to me, the decisions you make now are not just for now. It's for the life that you want to have later. I can assure you there are people that didn't come to our class reunion typing because they felt bad about seeing people that they did things with 20 years ago and didn't think that they would be embarrassed by it. But they don't want to be reminded of moments where they gave something of value away for nothing. They don't want to introduce their husband or wife to people that they spent time with or gave things to, whether it was emotional or physical, because you'll graduate from that moment of passion, but you won't graduate from the pain. You won't graduate from the pain. God can forgive you, but you and I both know your mind will remember. And so we want to encourage you the way Paul encouraged Timothy, carry yourself as an example to believers in the word. Most young Christians don't have a word life, Pastor Ab. They don't study the word. They listen to music, they on YouTube, play video games, they live in their life. And there's nothing wrong with that. You should have balance. But if you are a believer, then Jesus Christ needs to be the focal point. Some stuff is worth the investment. And don't tell me you love Jesus, but don't spend time with him. Because Buddha goes both ways. It's not just romantic, it's spiritual. And God wants you to be closer to him than anybody else. How do you do that? You get in the word. But then what happens? Conduct. Everybody say conduct.
Conduct.
Carry yourself like a leader. You need to carry yourself like the king or the queen that you are. In word, in conduct, in love. That means you treat people with respect. You don't dog other people because they don't have nice shoes. You don't make fun of people that don't have the latest clothes. You don't make fun of people because they have features that are different than yours. You don't cap on people and crack on them and say ugly things because they have some issue. Look at that bump. Well, your nose is wide. You're black. Look at you. Your skin is pale. Stop doing that. God made everybody. And everybody was created in the image of God. So treat everybody with love. It says in spirit, in faith, in purity. Everybody say purity.
Purity.
That means that you carry yourself in relationship without manipulation attached. That's not just romantic, that's platonic as well. Because there are people that will manipulate your emotions to get what they want from you. Stay away from manipulators. Do not build relationship with manipulators. Get away from them. You don't owe people anything but to love them. That's the Bible. So I just wanted to say that part. There's a lot that I want to say, but I've been talking too much, and my wife has so much wisdom in my soul.
It's terrible. Gosh, you said so much. I had something. Okay, you were talking about high school. So I want to tell you this from a personal experience. There was nothing like, okay, I'm going to tell my age here. I graduated in 1999. Some of y'all weren't even born. All of you weren't born. But I graduated in 99, and my 10-year class reunion in 2009, I remember going back there and seeing everybody. And there was a young lady with a little bit of a reputation of being easy. And I wonder how it felt for her to see, most of the football team she had been with. I tell you how I felt. I felt great because not one person in that room or in my class could say they knew anything about me in that regard. And it is an amazing feeling, and it is something to carry like a badge of honor. Your body is not for everyone's exploration. It's God's creation. It's for you to treat like the holy temple that it is. There are some times where you may I want to encourage you, and I don't know, I have my mom here, and I think the more you show that you're trustworthy and that you can be trusted, the easier the relationship between you and your parents can become. And I want to tell you that I felt, at one point, I think 14 was the hardest year for me. That was when me and my mother were not having the best relationship. But after we crossed that year is when she became one of my best friends, and I felt like there wasn't anything that I could not share with her. And I want to encourage parents to not approach your children with, I'm not saying be their best friends, but talking down to them, because then they will shut down and they will go explore everything. And the receptive nature of, if you're a female, the boy is, I'll hear you, and then that leads to other things. Please have an open ear and a welcoming spirit, because at any point, the world will answer the questions that you need to get out in front of. And I think it's real important for us to know that we have a responsibility as parents to lead them in the word, give them the word, and also give them the practical side. Because the word isn't gonna keep your feelings away. The feelings are gonna come with age, and as you mature, and as your puberty comes, and as you grow older, there are gonna be things about yourself that you're realizing and you don't understand. So I wanna challenge you to go to your parents and talk to them instead of someone who is your age and who probably can't help you navigate those waters. Because I was in some conversations at my high school that I probably shouldn't have been in. Like, fourth period, we're waiting, we're having cheerleader practice, and I'm hearing about all of these excursions that happen over the weekend. Now, I don't know what they're talking about, but because I was interested, I probably heard a lot more than I should have, so I was informed even though I didn't act on those things. So we have to make sure we're guarding our ear gate, and we are taking some time to fellowship with our as parents, with our children, more than just how was school, have you done your homework, did you eat, and all of that stuff. Let's get a little bit deeper. We can give them the word, but also give them the practical about what feelings they may be having, and make sure that, so we're not. Yeah, I'm sorry, a guy or a girl. She may be after something as well, you know?
Yeah.
So it works both ways.
Yeah, we have this patriarchal society where we think that the men are always aggressive, but those days are over. Young ladies are extremely aggressive, and they know how to get your attention. They know how to get a guy's attention, and they do it. And I think what's important, does anybody know how the devil tricked Eve into eating fruit? What was the seed of what caused her to sin? Does anybody know? Somebody said temptation. No, it wasn't temptation, yes. Curiosity.
Curiosity, that's great.
Everybody say curiosity.
Curiosity.
When I say don't eat the cookie,
Why? That's the first thing.
don't touch that stove,
Why?
don't go in this room.
And I wanna go and see
Don't open that box.
what's in it.
Mama, what's in that drawer? Don't you go in that drawer.
I
That's
went right
in
in
your
there.
daddy's
I
drawer.
went right in there.
That's our special drawer.
Actually, my brother's room, he found things I spilled. He was
Mama,
like,
what's this? That's a string. Listen, how many people, when you've been told not to do something, it makes you want to do it more?
That's me. Like every day.
Don't drink.
I'm drinking.
Put the weed down.
I don't do weed.
You better not have sex. Sex is the devil.
Yes, it is.
Let me help you understand.
Sex is not the
Sex
devil.
is not the devil, it came from God.
Came from
But
God.
it came within the context of marriage.
That's right.
And so it cannot be fully actualized and understood outside of God's context. Now, people do it all the time. But the point of this conversation is to help you to understand that the devil will use your curiosity, if it is not filtered, through the word.
Amen.
Okay? And so, are y'all getting something from this? Because it's like real quiet. Y'all just listen. It's so important that you hear me. Your hormones are not the devil. Your curiosity is not the devil. Even the things that are naturally inclined, your natural inclinations are not the devil. It's you. And it's okay to process them over time. What we want to do and what we're trying to build at Relentless Church is a community for our youth to have real dialogue about what they're feeling, what they're thinking, and what they're experiencing without judgment. No one is judged here. Now, it's people that are talking while I'm talking, and that makes me mad because people pay me a lot of money to show up and talk, and I'm not going to be not listened to in my own church. So if I'm speaking to you, then just take it and hear it and just focus, because what I'm saying is important, because what I don't want is for you to come to me this summer, because in the summer, the spirit of summer comes on, and you got your little Daisy Dukes on, and you put your little lotion on, and now everybody's, less clothes, more access, less oversight, and the next thing you know, all heck breaks loose. What I don't want is for you to be caught unaware. I want you to know that your emotions and your intellect and your passion and your hormones are natural things, but you must submit them to the word, and this is going to get some folks upset, but accountability. You're going to have to surround yourself with people. If you want to live holy, you can't do that by yourself. And holiness is a church word. Let me tell you what the real phrase is. Personal responsibility. Some of y'all should write that down. Personal responsibility. The reason why that's important is because you need to be able to take accounting for your own decisions. Don't say the devil made you do it. The devil can't make you do anything. You know what the devil can do? He can present it.
Seeds.
He can present it. He can plant a thought, or he can present it. But he can't make you eat it. He can present it, but he can't make you do it. And so I want to encourage our young people in this Boot Up series that in my heart, my whole thing, I've been trying to sit for too long but I'm a preacher, so I feel like I need to stand up because I need you to hear what I'm saying. But premature intimacy does more damage emotionally and spiritually to teenagers than any other thing. Premature intimacy, that means, does anybody know how to break the word down, intimacy? Into me see. When someone can see into you, of course you'll be closer. Of course you're going to be attracted to him. You told him your heart, and he was listening. But he was listening, and he was looking at you like, I know if I listen, she's going to like me more. And so, be careful who you share your heart with, who you share your secrets with. Everybody can't learn everything about you because you're vulnerable. Pastor Adam, have you ever been in a place where you were vulnerable and somebody took advantage of that vulnerability?
Yes. I think if we're all honest to say that there are some times where you haven't had the necessary parameters up, you haven't had the right boundaries, and you left your mind, your heart, and your body open to people who didn't deserve it. And when those times happen, you find yourself devastated, busted, and disgusted because you did not choose you over your feeling. You didn't choose your future over your feeling, and you didn't choose what the royal priesthood that God says you are a part of over your feeling. So there are some things that you're going to have to remember in this walk, and as you grow older, is that every moment is calculated. What you do in a moment, as my husband stated, can affect the rest of your life. Now, these all the time, it doesn't mean that you can't get it right.
That's right.
There are people who have made the mistake to go ahead and prematurely engage into sexual activity. God can forgive you. He can restore you. It doesn't mean that it's all over for you. Some people end up pregnant, but it doesn't mean that you're not gonna be restored, and a husband can choose you still, and you can still have a happy family. None of those decisions. Some people choose to take responsibility and go ahead and have the kid when others do other things. Yours just isn't out loud. So we feel like
you didn't say that in a way for some people that may not understand. People judge what they see.
yeah.
And so they're like, oh, she had a baby. She must be fast. But what about the girl that had 4 abortions? So we don't see what she did.
But it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
But it doesn't mean it didn't happen. And so nothing that you and I do can stop the destiny of God. He can restore you from anything. Anything. So there should be no condemnation leaving here. I want you to know, what time is it? Are we past our time? I know on the clock it said. I mean, I know what time it is, I'm saying, but I know I got 7 minutes in my own church. There we go. That's what I was waiting on. You don't tell me. I tell you. Don't play. All right. I'm gonna come right back there. I want you to hear this. What Pastor Av cannot be overstated. There's no condemnation here. What we're saying is that every human being in this room is so valuable that whether you've made a decision you're not proud of, or you may make one in the future that does not stop out from restoring you, healing you, and using you.
Because some people may be without the information.
Come on. Everybody wasn't raised in church.
Yep. There are some people who have been raised by the streets, who've been raised by whatever they learned at school because of parents, not, anything that was probably against their will.
That's right.
So in those moments, I really want you to know, and then you're informed illegally, so you act from that place. But I want you to know, as Mr. John said, that the Lord can restore it all, and you can start again, you can start anew. That's what this is about. So if you've made some decisions that you are not proud of, it is not over for you at this point. Nobody is perfect. There's only one perfect man. His name is Jesus Christ. We're made in his image, so we're trying every day to be like him, but it's impossible. We are here to tell you that you have to spend time in your word so that your word reserve is heavy enough and substantive enough for you to pull on when you're in those moments where you make this decision or this decision. And this decision, the one over here where it's easy to be led by your feelings and your emotions, can lead you down a path to destruction. But if you have the word inside of you, and you have your accountability, and you have people around you who are doing what you do, this is the pact, this is the purity pact over here. We go to church together, we sit together, we go to movies in groups. We know we hold hands in public while the lights are on and while the daytime is out. If people cannot serve you in a manner in which the boundaries that you place up for yourself, then you don't need to be put up with them.
Can you speak up, because I can't
I
hear
have a
you.
teenager and a preteen, and I was trying to explain to them what soul ties are.
I literally was going there.
All right, go there.
There are people who have been in relationships who can't understand why they can't get free. And sometimes when you allow someone into you, and I do mean into you if you are a woman or a guy who go into someone else prematurely, and when I say prematurely, I mean before marriage, there creates what is called a soul tie. And a soul tie is something that you feel like you cannot be without. Like there's that place of uncommon and unnecessary attraction that you have, and you can't move forward. You feel like you can't do anything without that person. And you're wondering why you can't rid yourself of that. It's because you've taken them into yourself, into your heart, into your mind, and it's gone too far, and it didn't have the God boundary.
Hold on,
That's what a soul tie is.
I need to add a caveat, because when we start talking about things like this, a lot of this is for parents to have conversations with their children, and there may be parents who have not had these conversations. We need to probably take this part and talk one-on-one, because I don't want to ever step over a boundary that other parents have not had these types of conversations with their children, because I think those are very personal conversations, and parents need to be able to have that boundary when they see fit. unless we had had a permission slip that said, we're gonna talk about X, Y, and Z, please know that before we walk in. Because there are some sixth graders who are like, I have a bow tie, but I don't know.
I got a JoJo bow.
Did any of y'all watch JoJo? No! They're not watching JoJo. They're watching me though. Cardi. Okay. All right. Now let's have that conversation aside from here. We're gonna take. I feel like this is a conversation we need to have more of. Do y'all want us to have this again?
Yeah.
Parents, can we have this conversation again and add some more to it? Okay, it was like, yeah.
What's up with them tonight?
I have no idea.
For those who couldn't hear, what she was saying is that she didn't have meaningful conversations about relationship and intimacy until she was pregnant, her and her mother. And so some parents have a difficulty talking about these subjects, and it's because we have a very limited amount, Pastor Apter, of real information. And the church runs from these subjects. And then we want to shame people when they walk out what is natural. Hear me clearly. It takes the supernatural power of God to not do what comes naturally. If I could do holy by myself, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be shimmying in my red sweater if I couldn't do it on my own. I need God. I need the supernatural to keep me from doing what comes naturally. So there's no judgment. But you do need boundaries. You do need accountability. And you need to put a healthy, protective covering around your curiosity. There's nothing wrong with curiosity, nothing wrong with hormones, nothing wrong with attraction. And sex is not dirty. It's not nasty. It was created by God. It is a natural thing. But the church must equip you to be wise, that you don't make decisions that destroy your future too soon. And I'm a pastor now and a father. And so my son will be 7 in less than 2 weeks. And I got a 6-year-old. Right now we have 2 6-year-olds in our house. And very soon, I hope not soon, but my daughter is going to mature and her cycle will come and all of these things. And God help me, I don't know what to do. I didn't even want to change diapers. But I'm going to have conversations, and her mother will have to have conversations. And I made Avatar make me this promise. I said, never keep a secret from me when it comes to my kids. I'm the head of this household. And kids will go to one because they connect, but I don't want no secrets. I need to know what's going on in my house so I know what to pray for, what to pray down, what to cover. And if my kids come to me and say, Dad, I blew it here, or I did this there, I bet you won't hear about it. You know why? Because we cover. And you need to know your pastors love you.
Yeah.
If you ever have any issue, I don't care what it is, we cover. You ain't gonna never have to come to an altar and confess confess your sins. Nobody else does. You confess between you and God, but you get covering here. We love you. I say this to end, and then you can speak the word of life, Pastor Ash. And can we thank Pastor Ash? She's given so much wisdom. Y'all will be better than that. He said something that was really deep. He talked about sometimes a decision. You make this decision, your life goes one way, basically, or you make this decision, it can go a totally different way. I remember that moment in my life. I was 19 years old. And there was this lady that she was the finest thing going.
Except for me.
Right, but at 19, you were 10 at the time. So I didn't, we didn't even grow up together. I wouldn't even meet you for another 15 years or something. And so, but this woman represented all the things I ever wanted and could never get. That's why the enemy will get you. If you don't know who you are, if you have insecurity, he will feed on your insecurity. And if nobody tells you you're beautiful, you'll go to the first person that tells you. If you don't know you're beautiful, sister, put your eyeshadow on, that don't make you beautiful. You were beautiful before then. You're beautiful with acne. You're beautiful whether you're thin or thick, light skin, dark skin, white, black, no hair texture. The length of your hair doesn't matter. You were beautiful because you were created beautiful. You don't need a boy to tell you you're beautiful, and you don't need another girl to tell you you're beautiful. Gentlemen, you don't need another man to tell you you're handsome or a woman to tell you you're handsome. It doesn't matter. I know they laughing, but I know what it is. Everybody in here is not walking out the same path. So I'm not judging anybody. My point is this, and I feel like it goes. I remember this woman. She was the thing I wanted, but I made a promise to my mother that I'd be a virgin when I got married. And this girl was offering, and I mean, she made the offer, and it was a great offer.
No, it wasn't.
It was a blessing. Oh, yeah. And I was in her home and kissing and all that, and all of a sudden it came down to ground zero. And I'll never forget what she said. She said, "Are you going to do it or what?" I'm just being honest, because y'all in here playing. Y'all act like y'all talk worse than this in your text. So don't front. Really? What? Some of the memes y'all be passing around in y'all group text, girl, please. She said, "Are we going to sleep together or what?" And I literally, and I've told Abington this, I told my mother this, I'll never forget it. I genuinely felt like there were angels watching and demons watching. And all of the word and prayer and intercession that my mother had done over years to train and teach it, all the times I was in church and didn't want to be there, all of that rose up in that moment. And I said, "No." And she said, "Why not? You don't want this?" And I said, "You're not my wife and I don't love you."
Oh, that hurt.
And I got up, and my life took off. 2-bedroom apartment, to getting a call to going on tour with a guy named Kurt Franklin that turned into everything else in my life. And I am sure that had I made the decision to go the other way on that night, I wouldn't be here right now. Do you know the decision you make can change the course of your destiny? Let me be the example. Let my wife be the example. Because I struggled with insecurity and identity. I didn't think I was valuable or handsome or any of that. My wife is a beauty queen. She's won beauty practice, won oratorical competition. She had me. I was like, "Lord, am I ever gonna get a girlfriend?" So I say that to say, no matter if you're the one that they want or the one that you don't think anybody could ever want you, the enemy will come for you. But if you make the right decision in that moment, your life will become for the nation. That's my prayer. That you understand your value and make a God decision.
I pray that we can have real conversations, Pastor John, with parents as well, because what she said has stuck with me, that sometimes the parents don't feel empowered to know or to talk or to share with their children, or maybe they don't have the necessary tools, so maybe that's something that we need to relentlessly pursue, that we give our adults as parents and relationships where these conversations are healthy ones and not ones that separate but actually bring everyone together. And for you all in this series, and if it continues or when it comes back around, if you can just remember that if no one tells you you're beautiful or handsome, you don't have to listen to someone who says that with a condition attached. Because there's one who's already said it. And because he did, you don't need anybody to validate it for you. It's already been stamped with your name on it. You're beautiful without giving your body away. You're handsome without giving your body away. So keep something to give to your husband, to your wife. And if you've already gone that route, reset, ask for forgiveness, and turn, and it'll never be remembered, and you can start anew, and you can start fresh. And the Lord loves you, and you are no less valuable than you were before. So I just want you to know without any doubt that what God has said about you is what will always stand against anything that you've experienced or any mistake that you've ever made.